As Nigerians President Bola Ahmed Tinubu completes his first year in office, Nigerians have given their ratings on how the president has fared, especially as it concerns economic policies and its impact on the cost of living on an average citizen. From the removal of fuel subsidies to an increase in electricity tariffs and the rising cost of food items, among others. News Center's Adesewa Odusoga reports.
Judging by the dramatic election that ushered President Bola Ahmed Tinubu into office, the expectations of his reign were met with mixed feelings. While his supporters were banking on the promises made during the campaign, others were either angry or pessimistic that their most preferred candidate did not emerge as president.
People are crying that even when we came out to vote, to participate in this election with everything that makes us, and then eventually you go back and then you manipulate and you want to do whatever you want to do, then what are you telling us?
But the optimism of some of his supporters seemed to be short-lived, as President Bola Tinubu, in his inauguration speech, announced the removal of fuel subsidy.
No provision is there for fuel subsidy. The fuel subsidy is gone.
This, many believed, prompted instant inflation and uncertainty in the consumer market, with fuel prices shooting up as high as 200%.
Before, we do buy fuel at the rate of 185, and if I should buy fuel for 185, I do buy 5 litre, let me say 750. And if I should use that 5 litre, I will use it to make 6,000 naira every blessed day. But now I'm buying fuel at the rate of 2,500 for 5 litres. My own income is not even coming out again.
Like this, you can wait for NEPA from 1 day to even 3 days, we don't go see light. But later, we are going by the generator. Now I'm using diesel engine before. When the cost of diesel is too much, I turn to petrol. Now the petrol now is too high.
As a result of the increase in the price of petrol, the effect started to spiral down to the prices of commodities, especially food prices, which were already on the high side due to the lingering insecurity in the northern part of the country. Markets across Nigeria started to record fewer customers and diminishing patronage amidst rising prices.
Tẹ́lẹ̀, ara basket tomato 3,500, 3,000. Nísìnyí ó ti di 30 o. Ẹ gbà wá o.
Màlúù 300 gbà yẹn ńlá ni. Nísìnyí màlúù 1.3, 1.4 bá ṣe ń rà sí nìyẹn.
As part of its economic policies, the president floated the foreign exchange market and equally raised the electricity tariff by 300% for consumers on Band A. These are people who are categorized as those who enjoy electricity supply for more than 20 hours a day. According to Nigeria's Electricity Regulatory Agency, only about 12 million people.
And if I should buy fuel for 185, I do buy 5 litre, let me say 750. And if I should use that 5 litre, I will use it to make 6,000 naira every blessed day. But now I'm buying fuel at the rate of 2,500 for 5 litres. My own income is not even coming out again.
Like this, you can wait for NEPA from 1 day to even 3 days, we don't go see light. But later, we are going by the generator. Now I'm using diesel engine before. When the cost of diesel is too much, I turn to petrol. Now the petrol now is too high.
As a result of the increase in the price of petrol, the effect started to spiral down to the prices of commodities, especially food prices, which were already on the high side due to the lingering insecurity in the northern part of the country. Markets across Nigeria started to record fewer customers and diminishing patronage amidst rising prices.
Tẹ́lẹ̀, ara basket tomato 3,500, 3,000. Nísìnyí ó ti di 30 o. Ẹ gbà wá o.
Màlúù 300 gbà yẹn ńlá ni. Nísìnyí màlúù 1.3, 1.4 bá ṣe ń rà sí nìyẹn.
As part of its economic policies, the president floated the foreign exchange market and equally raised the electricity tariff by 300% for consumers on Band A. These are people who are categorized as those who enjoy electricity supply for more than 20 hours a day. According to Nigeria's Electricity Regulatory Agency, Only about 12 million people are connected to the power grid, of whom 1.5 million are categorized under the Band A.
Whilst the intention was good, that communication was very, it was a misfit, number one, for that type of occasion. Two, at that level of sensitivity of the Nigerian economy. Do not forget that we're still dealing with the impact of the naira scarcity and impact of general elections on consumer prices and all of that. And we're already dealing with the rising inflation and all that. So I felt that that policy could have been introduced, but in much more phased stages. And that's one. Number two, the policy was not introduced with possible alternatives. There has to be alternatives.
1 year on, Nigerians are asked to give their ratings on how the president has fared so far as it affects their cost of living.
This is the worst since I was born. I've never seen a thing like this before. So bad, there's nothing to see. In fact, nothing to write home about what is going on now.
Èmi gan sí èló mò ń gbà 25,000. A ní kọ́gà wa fi kówó kò fi kówó. Owó yìí ò tó ra ń jẹ débi pé ìkànnà ọmọ tèmi tẹ̀ ti stop school.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is expected to complete his first 4-year term in office in 2027, with another 4 years if re-elected till 2031 in accordance with the Constitution. Although the president has continued to plead for patience, assuring that the dwindling economy will be back on its feet, for Nigerians, they will have to wait to see how long this pain will last. In Lagos, for News Central, Adesewa Odusoga.
To discuss this further with me is public affairs commentator Jide Johnson, and he joins me live in the studio. Jide, thank you so much for your patience and just sticking around. Let's get started. What specific economic indicators have shown changes in the cost of living under Tinubu's administration in the past year?
First and foremost, good day to our viewers all over the world, and thank you for having me. Well, invariably, if you look from the report that provides the background for our discussion, virtually every sector of Nigeria has felt the impact of, one, the removal of fuel subsidy, two, the floating of the exchange rate of the naira, and three, the introduction of different types of tariff, the educational removal of the increase in the tariff of electricity bill, and that of removal of increasing the student fees across federal institutions, and the introduction of student loan. All of these has had a reverberating effect on the economy. One, it has pushed up the cost of living, in which invariably has also reduced the standard of living. And all of these policies are meant to drive the revenue generation goal of this particular administration. I think the focus of this administration, the economic thrust, is about revenue generation. And don't forget that when you put in place different form of taxation, either direct or indirect taxation, it will affect the overall economy, because it will affect the capacity of the economy to be productive, because it will restrict the capacity of people to get credit to expand their businesses across various sectors. So as far as I'm concerned, in the last 1 year, it's been pretty difficult for an average Nigerian. You could see the inflationary effect. I think inflation is about 33 to 35% now compared to what you have a year ago.
Right. Let's talk about the impact, right? Can you analyze the impact of government policies implemented by Tinubu's administration on consumer purchasing, power and overall cost of living? And so in this case, we're talking, the floating of the naira and these other policies, but I will let you take that, please.
Yeah, like I pointed out, you see, look, you have a situation, the policies, like I said, are focused on revenue generation. Don't forget that Nigerian economy is a service economy. Service economy in the sense that the sector that are actually making money are not the productive sector. It's just the service sector, the banking sector, the telecom sector. As a result of that, the productive arm of the economy is the manufacturing sector. What has happened to the manufacturing sector? First, you remove fuel subsidy. We saw the account of that welder that spoke about him transiting from power to diesel engine to petroleum engine, and invariably which has led to increases in the cost of production. So invariably it has impacted every sector. The prices that people pay for goods and services. You saw that cow seller. I said about a year ago it was 300,000. Now it's 1.3. You saw that woman, that tomato seller in the market, said that the basket of tomato used to be 3,000 naira. It's now 30,000 naira. So if you begin to look at it, you could see that it's about 1,000 increases in the price index of commodity goods. Now, if that's commodity goods, if you now look at the productive sector, for example, if you have an office and you have to power that your office with electricity, there's 300% increase in the electricity tariff. If you have to power it with diesel or with petrol, that you have also seen an increase from 148 to about 610, 650, 750, depending on where you are purchasing that particular product. So the policy has really affected every sector of the economy. There's no doubt about that. And when government comes in place and they talk about, we have done infrastructure, I usually tell people this: infrastructure is the ABC, is the 1, 2, 3 of public administration. Anybody can do infrastructure. What you should tell us is that in what way have you been able to drive the economy? In what way have you been able to drive the economy in such a way that, we have created this industrial estate. We are so number of companies have been established in the country, and they have created these employment opportunities in the last 1 year. Don't tell me that we have constructed 100 kilometers of road. We have built 1,000 units of housing. Those are ABCs of those can't drive your economy. What can drive your economy are the economic policies you put in place that empowers your manufacturing sector.
Speaking of economic policies, let's talk about the fiscal policy, right? So what role has fiscal policy? I mean, we look at the MPC meeting, the committee, their meetings that they've had, Wale Edu, and even the governor of the CBN, and that's Cardoso. All the policies that they've introduced, are they played in addressing or even exacerbating the cost of living challenges that citizens faced or they're facing under this administration in the last year?
The policies have always been how to generate revenue.
So they've not done anything to even sort of alleviate
what industrial estate has been established? What policies have they put in place to affect different sectors of the economy? Let's talk about the manufacturing sector. What policy? What we have seen in the last 1 year by this present administration is about imposing one form of taxation, about policies that will generate revenue for the government and not policies that will drive the economy. And it is the manufacturing sector that can drive the economy. It is not the service sector. We are focused more on the service sector at the expense of the manufacturing sector.
What's forcing the government to want to drive more revenue, to get more revenue for the government to run it? Is it because of we don't have enough infrastructure? What exactly is causing? Because I mean, the theme or the buzzword I've been hearing in many of the analysis that we've seen is they're trying to generate more revenue, overtaxing, inflated budget, frivolous spending. Why make all this money? Where's it going to?
Now, let me just give you an example which is relevant. The National Assembly, with the speed of light, passed the amendment bill that referred to the old national anthem. You know how much money that is going to be spent in all of the public documents at the state, at the federal, and the local government level. All of the public documents where they are going to replace and reprint these documents with the new national anthem that has been passed. The focus of the administration has always been in servicing the economy. And that's why the focus is on revenue generation. I think the major driver, and this is where government should be looking at, look, when you talk about the First Republic, which is the anthem which we used, you talk about the Ikeja Industrial Estate, you talk about the Lupeju Industrial Estate, you talked about Agbara Industrial Estate. All of those estates were established by the regional government. Now, 25 years down the line, under this democratic experience, I want anybody to point to me that these are the industrial estates from successive administration in the last 25 years, that these are the estates they've established. In the last 25 years, our sensitivity has been abused with infrastructure. What every government comes out to tell you and I is that we have built 100 kilometers of road, we have built this, we have done that infrastructure, we are getting money to build infrastructure.
So infrastructure.
It's infrastructure. That's been the focus. And it's just the ABC of public administration. It's just the 1, 2, 3. Anybody can build infrastructure. But a serious government will put in place policies that will drive the manufacturing sector. It is when we have the manufacturing sector that will drive the agriculture sector. Now, when we produce enough food in Nigeria, that we have enough food to eat in Nigeria, and we have much to export to other countries. When we produce goods in Nigeria, that we have enough to consume in Nigeria, and we push to other countries, that is what we drive the value of the naira compared to other currency. But here we have a service sector. Much naira is running after the dollar. There's no way. No matter which fiscal policy you put in place, naira will still be falling the way it's falling.
Jide, I do have to let you go, but very, very pertinent issues you raised there and very insightful contribution. Many thanks for coming on, and thank you for doing this with us.
It's a pleasure to be with you always.